Hey everybody, it's Janice from Semester Safety Solutions. I hope everyone has had a great Canada Day and looking forward to the summer. It's already been a hot one, so I hope you are protecting yourself. Today I want to talk about actually one of the biggest mistakes I think I've ever made as a safety professional. It was actually during a job interview that I had a number of years ago. I started working in the industry back in 2007. So I was on the job from July 2007 until September 2008. And then I switched to another company and I ended up getting laid off in January of 2009. Because of course that was when the recession hit. A lot of construction companies were taking a hit at the time. 2007 was a year when people were just looking for bodies in health and safety. It didn't matter necessarily the experience. And I will admit that's probably why I ended up getting the job that I had. Fresh out of college. I wasn't young, but I was fresh out of college. No construction experience, no safety experience. And then 2009 hit and I was out of a job. Yeah, so was unemployed for 14 months. And of course, during that time, you're wondering, do I switch careers? Do I know what I'm doing? Am I the right person for the job? And all of those things start to enter your mind when you are looking for a job. So I remember I applied for a job, and it was working for a company that did primarily the housekeeping and maintenance on a job site that was a refinery. And so I'm like, okay, that's fine. I've been in construction by that point for, a good year and a half plus. So I went down to this job interview and everything seems to be going great. And then he says, the interviewer asks if I have any questions. And this is probably where I made my biggest mistake that I've ever made as a health and safety professional during this job interview. I asked them which regulation their business was covered under, industrial or construction. And I didn't realize the problem with the question at the time. But he did give me a weird look, and then he kind of gave me an answer. I don't exactly remember what the answer was. And then we entered the interview, and then I'm not sure if I never heard back from them or if they just said, I wasn't the right fit for the job. And then, as I got more experience in this industry, I realized the mistake that I made. And what it was is most companies, especially when we're talking about those in the construction sector or in the construction world, don't fall under just one regulation. It's about what you're doing, right? If what you're doing falls under the construction, like if the task falls under the construction regulations, then you would be investigated or whatever under the construction regulations. But if what you're doing falls under the industrial regulations, then you would be referenced to the industrial regs. Very often you don't fall just under one regulation, and I had totally missed that at that point in my career. And even I remember at one point my dad saying, "When is a forklift not a forklift?" A forklift falls under industrial regs, but it also falls under construction regulations. But if you take the forks off and put a bucket on it, for example, then it's a front end loader. It's not a forklift. You could put a jib on it and then it becomes a lifting device or a hoisting device. So that's probably, like I said, the biggest mistake that I've ever made. And I've definitely learned from it since then. I've been in this industry for almost 20 years now. But that's definitely something that I learned from. And I often explain to my customers as well when I'm talking to them that it's just, they don't necessarily just fall under one category. Nobody falls under just one category. So just keep that in mind the next time you're going forward. And you know what? Don't be afraid to admit your mistakes, and because we all have to learn somehow, and the best way to learn is from making mistakes and learning from them. So have a great day, everyone, and we'll chat with you soon.